Welcome back again, ladies and gents, to another fine creating episode of the Gaming Kitchen, where if I'm not randomly commenting on loser spaces on YouTube, is it really the Gaming Kitchen? Folks, I am back again. I'm working on a new creation. The Speedway of Bristol. There's going to be a lot of things that you can't do in MLB The Show with this. One of them that you can't do is there's going to be a lot of covered up spots and spaces. So one of the problems with that is I'm going to have to be creative, if you must. I'm going to have to be creative with that. I'm going to have to be creative with a lot of spaces and stuff like that, and work around some things. Right now, I'm still in the preliminary state of getting everything shaped up and shipped out. And I'll be honest with you, once you get over 50K, which is what this does, I'm going to have to save some spaces for the little put-together field thing that they have here, which I got to do. And then if I have to move the space out for it to be a little bit wider, a little bit larger, I'm going to have to do that too. So this is the current project. It's not going to take long. Angel Stadium is currently done in the landscaping part, but I got to do the stadium part. I got to do that layout. So once I get that done and once I get this worked on, then everything's going to be everything. So that's just it. So my projects, as they continue, I have Baker's Bowl. Is it Baker's Bowl? Baker's Bowl. Or Bakersfield, whatever. I got to get the name right for that. That's currently in the works as well. I have the outline for that. That's in its preliminary state. I have plans for all the Oriole parks. Oriole Park 1 through 5 is going to get done. I already have the 6th one done with Oriole Park and Cannon Yards. Memorial Stadium, that's easy. That's already done. And so I have all the drawings for Oriole Park 1. I have the dimensions, the parameters, what the city looked like in the 1800s. I have all that stuff done. I just got to apply it to the game and then upload it for everyone to have. That's going to take a little bit of time. That's probably going to bleed into September to a certain extent. And so that's that. Other ballparks, I have San Diego Stadium in the works. I'm going to just run through all the preliminary. I'm just going to start doing preliminaries of ballparks, meaning I'm going to do the field dimensions. I'm going to do a rough estimation of what the field looks like. And then I'm just going to go back and run through everything. Hey, Max, I'm just going to run through everything. Okay. This is how I operate. This is what I do. A lot of people say, that, they look at my ballparks and they look at the detail and they look at how do you get your memory done and how you get that. I can run through that today while I'm up here working on, so it's 5:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ladies and gents. Hello, one, hello, all. If you're here, good to talk to you. Good to see you. So, yeah, I can do that. I can definitely run through some stuff. The first thing first, if you guys want to build stadiums and ballparks, I can still do that here. I think I might start cutting my streams off in certain points and start uploading them at certain key points if you must. I don't know. The audio sounds crappy. There's no noise isolation feature for PlayStation streaming. And I don't have computer streaming. I have none of that technology. I am way dated, way behind. And I'll be honest with you, I have no care nor concern to do so. I got the 477 subscribers in over almost 10 years. It is what it is. So my first lesson of building ballparks is as follows. If you want to build ballparks, okay, the first thing that comes with building ballparks is understanding your limitations of this game. There are no vertical wraps. There are no vertical or slanted tarps or anything that you can apply to fields like this. So if you look at the diagram, well, Wink the Man, they already put all the hyped up stuff in there with this Bristol thing. But one thing that got me is that you would think that they would have put the slanted road in there so that would help you out a little bit. But, whatever. One of the things that if you want to do your projects, know your limitations, extend and stretch everything to as far as you can, and then learn when to ride away and get away from it and be at peace with what you got, because that's just what's going to keep you sane in life. Okay? The second thing, externally, in all of this, I'm done complaining. I've done this in many streams, but I truly mean it now because it's like almost September. It's August now, late August. I am, for the most part, done with complaining about this mode. Much like how I'm done complaining about Madden, I'm done complaining about NCAA, I'm done complaining about a lot of things in my life. I think it has something to do with you growing up. I'm in my mid-30s now. I don't care about complaining about stuff that I have put a collective effort into at some point in my life. So I have been vehemently open about the limitations of this game. I have been vehemently open about my disdain for the lack of progress towards key things in this game that I think should be applied. And I've been very open about it. Most streams, I have been very bothered by it. I've been very annoyed by it. You guys already know how I feel about the crowd sizes. You guys know how I feel about the data sizes. I truly believe that there is a difference between writing something off and giving up. Okay? Giving up something means that you have ultimately exhausted yourself to the point to where you can no longer push forward. Therefore, if you give up in a relationship, that means you're done with it. You give up on a job, that means you're done with it. When you have written it off, okay, it's a thin line. But my definition of writing something off or someone off is when you have exhausted every single option, but you have saved your energy from being exhausted. I have sincerely saved my energy from being exhausted when it comes to this. So I'm going to write this off. New updates come. I'll share them with you guys. I'll tell you what I think. New updates to the game. I'll share them with you, tell you what I think if you guys care to hear and care to listen. Obviously, there's 470 some people here. I average about three to four people a stream because they come and go. So obviously, you know where that's going. But in all honesty, I don't care to do it anymore because guess what? No one's listening. Okay? And most of the complaints which I'm complaining about, I've been complaining about since MLB The Show 21. All right? And no one's going to come and fix it. SDS does not look at these streams. SDS does not pay attention to these streams. These streams are for teaching people how to build stuff and have fun, good conversations. I've exhausted all that stuff. It's time to write it off. If SDS fixes it at some point, then they fix it at some point. If they don't, they don't. I'm more so leaning towards them never fixing anything and just keeping things going the way they're going and be shocked and surprised than to keep expectations. That's just it. I know there are some in this circle, in this community, who wishes to keep voicing their options, voicing their opinions about stuff. Godspeed to you. Okay? Godspeed to you. I don't have the time and I don't have the patience. So that's that. At this point, the wish lists have been made by thousands of people and probably seen by one or none. And that's the mentality I have about it. So I'm writing it off. All right. If anyone wishes to have my insight as to how and why I build my stuff the way I build my stuff, I can share that as well. So that's the third thing which I can go into while I'm sitting around killing a little bit of time before I go into this ballpark or racetrack. I don't build my ballparks like other people. What I have done is I do kind of like what the Roman Empire did. When the Roman Empire came along, the Roman Empire didn't have gods. They took Greek gods and then renamed them. And it's the same thing I do with ideas, and it's the same thing I do with suggestions, and it's the same thing I do with structures and how I build stuff. When I build things, I look at how other people build stuff. It's one of my most things I like to stay grounded with the fact that by me admitting that I know nothing, I have the chance to learn everything. So I look at professional gamers. I look at how people build their ballparks. I look at tips and tricks. I go and look at a person's created stadium. I look at all the intricacies and all that stuff. This sounds familiar to people out here who are professional cooks and chefs, because guess what a chef will do, or a cook who's learning? They will go, they will eat, they will take certain desserts, they will study the sauce, they will study the cream, they will study the meat, they will study the candy, they will study the flour that's used, they will study everything and write down what they find interesting about that cake, or what about that cupcake, or what about that dinner that they liked. And the next time when they come in, they see it in their minds and they explore it and they do it to themselves. If you have never encountered someone who has not done that, do not learn from them, because they're lying to you. Every single person on this earth, be it your teachers, your professors, or whatever, has learned from someone else and has taken key advice from someone else, or certain things that they like, and certain mannerisms, or certain effective ways that they teach their class, or how they create something, or how they sculpt. No man is their own man on this earth. And so that's the case. I get criticisms from other people in other comment sections, not in the stadium building community, because I comment everywhere. Like I posted in this loser group yesterday. And they're like, oh, you just build all you do is build ugly stadiums. I'm happy with my life. And I'm going to tell you something. I think I've touched more people, and this isn't for arrogance sake, but I believe that I've touched more people and impacted more people's lives by sitting up here for 2 hours, 3 hours, an hour and a half, showing you guys how to build ballparks and talking than most people have about dynamic dating on websites and on YouTube. And I like to keep it that way. I'm an honest person. I keep it real. I don't BS and I don't play politics on this channel. So I tell people my thoughts and I tell people my things. So that's the difference between me and other people when I build stuff. I can't speak for other people, but when it comes to me, I like learning from other people. I like learning from people who I gave suggestions to. I like looking at their ballparks and seeing what they put in their ballparks and what worked. I have no shame to my game. The one thing you will never see me do, you will never see me take somebody else's work and make it my own. In MLB The Show 21, I learned how to deconstruct and build stadiums by taking other people's stuff, but make sure to say this was me reimagining someone else's work. When MLB The Show 22 came along, I started building all my stuff from scratch. So if I wanted to see it, if I wanted it, instead of me downloading and playing on it, I started making it myself. That's how you challenge yourself. So that's how I build stuff. Okay, that's how I continue on going with this. One other thing in which I like to take from this, and this is the last thing on which before I go into this whole building thing, I am a firm believer that I am in no competition with anybody else. I don't build ballparks to rival other people. I don't build ballparks to show up other people. I build ballparks to rival myself. I build ballparks to compete with myself. When I look in my rearview mirror, I don't see other people in second or third place trying to surpass me, because there is no place to surpass me. I see people beside me who wish to work with me and wish to collab with me. That's it. And that's a lesson in which people can take into life, people can take into professional world, people can take into those things. Now, I will say, it is healthy to have an ego. Tom Brady has an ego. Michael Jordan has an ego. I'd be lying to you if I don't say, if I sit up there and see somebody do something, I said, I can do it. And, ain't no problem. And I can continue to say, Not only can I do it, but I can probably make it a little bit better. No offense. But all your CEOs, all your bosses, all your Hall of Famers of the teams you guys like, if you guys are into sports, they all thought like that. There isn't one day, no matter how humble and nice that Brooks Robinson was, Brooks Robinson never sat in that locker room and said, you know what, I think somebody else could do third base better than me. Never happened. You don't win 16 gold gloves throughout an illustrious career that man had for as long as he played, from 1955 to 1976, which is like 21 years or so. You don't play that long and have a humble mentality. He chose not to be a dick, which is fine and respectable off the field. But on the field, that man was a competitor. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. You talk to Tom Brady had a competitive personality. Never be ashamed of being that. Never be ashamed of being great. We are great in many things. A lot of people look at, oh, this is just a stadium builder mode. It's not a stadium builder mode. There are certain lessons in which I've taken from this. I've learned how to give life to my history major just because of this mode. I've learned research. I've learned all that stuff. I've learned every single thing because it reignited something inside me that I could be good at this. So in this community, let's kick ass. Let's build stuff that we want to build. And if we happen to build the same exact thing, fine. Guess what? Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and I think Donatello made versions of David. They made different versions, not variations. They made different versions of David. And they're all different things. Michelangelo made his out of marble. I think Leonardo made his out of maybe Druid or something. I know Raphael, or was it Donatello? I think Donatello made his out of bronze or something. And they all look different. But they're all David. If you are happy with your version of what you made and you're at peace with it, if you come to me and you ask me to critique it, I'm going to look at it the way I look at my work. I'll give you an insight into how my brain works. I am not a gatekeeper of ballparks. I'm just a mofo who loves stadiums since I was a kid, and this is what I like to do in my free time to save my sanity. That's just it. And, if people want to come and they want to ask advice for that, I'll gladly help you. Because I believe iron sharpens iron. And that's it. So, that's the case. That's that. Been doing this since MLB The Show 21. I've seen so many creators come and go, and I've really wished that those guys stuck around. I don't know why they left. I don't know why they're not here. I really wish they were, because there were a lot of good people on YouTube that I used to talk to and I used to shoot the shit with, and they're not around anymore. And I guess a lot of them got tired after MLB The Show 22 because they overextended themselves, taking requests from people and all that stuff. This is why, again, last thing I'm going to rant about, last thing I'm going to talk about. I have caught flack in my years. Right. Because in all honesty, we have an opportunity, and by we, I mean a collective whole, to make something in which honestly was in video games a long time ago. If you get on MLB 2K2 or 2K3, they already had classic teams today. But you didn't have that many classic stadiums. We get the chance to make classic rosters, classic logos, classic ballparks, classic all that stuff. It's at our realm. It's at our command. It's at our show. And you thrive from that. When it comes to stadium requests, I made a strict rule for myself. I don't tell other people to do this. And you can ask anybody who ever came through here and my, full of filled rage rants. I've always told people this. If you are good at what you do, okay, you're not going to do it for free. That's just it. And then, if you are a person who's good at what you do, you're not going to do it for free. Now, a lot of people hear me say that, and they'll run away with it. What I mean to say is that when I started posting my stuff to TikTok, people used to have this sense of entitlement to when you do something. It's called I like to call it the goose with the golden egg syndrome. Now, if anybody's old school here, you grew up on Aesop's fables. They've been out for thousands and thousands of years. But that story is about a goose that laid a golden egg. And the end, they got so impatient with this goose laying golden eggs, they killed the goose by cutting it open and trying to get the eggs out, therefore killing the goose that produced the golden egg. That's the same thing that can be done with your creativity. I'm not even talking about building ballparks now, but since we're in that topic, we're in the realm, this is what I'm talking about. You can be so talented at something that you have that golden egg. And people will come by and they will ask, well, you need to produce 2 golden eggs. You need to produce 3 golden eggs. You need to produce and you're doing all these golden eggs for every farmer that comes by. Then eventually someone will cut you open to try and get more golden eggs out of you, and they'll eventually kill your talent. That just doesn't go for ballparks. That goes for if you're on your job. That goes for if you are a contractor. That goes for if you are writing books. People love good stuff. The brighter the candle casts, let's say the brightest of candles casts the darkest of shadows. That's pretty much just what it does. And so where I'm coming from with that and that philosophy is that a way to curb that, if you are putting your stuff out there for strangers to see, for people to see, is that eventually at some point, people become very demanding and entitled to things that are not theirs. People are very entitled to your time. They're very entitled to your creativity. They're very entitled to you. And next thing you know, you build all this stuff. You keep building all this stuff. You keep building all this stuff. And then you start getting in a realm where people now are, well, this doesn't look like this doesn't look like that, and this doesn't look like that. And you get between the crosshair of, I'm doing this to impress people, and if I don't do it a certain way, people are going to say this about my stuff and say this about this. How you nip all that in the bud is very simple. You maintain and control your peace. Why am I building ballparks? I built it, and I got into this because I wanted to see Memorial Stadium. Then it grew into, I want to see what else I can challenge myself with. Then I wanted to see, now that I realize that me building this stuff is touching other people in a special way, in a positive way, I can now do this. Then let me see if I can make some cash from this. Let me see if I can get a little bit of attention, notoriety from this. Then once you go back to those bare necessities of why you did something, when people come to you and do that to you, you say, okay, cool, $30 for it. Oh, man, you mean to tell me you're charging ballparks for that? Then they laugh you off. Well, I'll just get somebody else to build it. Go do it. You're not missing out on any money. You're not missing out on anything because, honestly, you told that person, if you look at it this way, you told that person that you would pay, that you would require a certain reward for your services rendered. When I sit up here, and this is where I'm at now, and I do a ballpark that you want. If you ask me, like on TikTok, they say, oh, well, build Cleveland Stadium. I said, bro, it's already built. Build this stadium, build that stadium, build that stadium. They don't even say please. They see that you're doing something great. They see that you're talented at what you do. They don't even have the common courtesy to ask you, hey, yo, can you build this for me, please? Do this. And if somebody sincerely comes up to me and asks me that, I might consider it. I have never got a person who did that for me. Because you live in a time where people are entitled to things. They're entitled to fame, they're entitled to attention, they're entitled to fortune, they're entitled to money, they're entitled to all these things except civility. So my response to that is, I'm talented at what I do. I believe in my talents. I believe in my skills, my mind. Or charge you for what you want to ask for. If you don't want to pay me, I have no problem because I have an abundance mentality from time to time. And if you don't want to do it, someone else will. Or if somebody else doesn't want to do it, fine. I'll F off and do my own thing. That's where you got to go. Be careful when people are asking you guys what to build, what to do, because if you don't want to do it, your work is going to look just exactly like that. It's going to look like trash. It's going to come out wrong. Your shapes are going to be wrong. You're going to be hitting the wall every single time. So what I do when I tell people is that, listen, I'm going to be real front with you. I don't care about your ballpark. Like, no offense. I'm not interested in building the Reese's Park in, bum F, Iowa, But, hey, listen, I'll show you some tips on how to build it for free. I ain't going to charge you for knowledge. That's what I do. And whoever wants to come in here and whoever wants to ask, like I had a person when I was working on Camden Yards, somebody came in here and they said, I'm stuck on how to make the scoreboards in Dodger Stadium because they wanted to make Dodger Stadium. And I literally took time out of my stuff. I showed them how to quickly make a half shape of it because you can't make a full shape of it. And you just go like that. Now, I'll do that for free. If I'm in ATG and people want to hit me up and you want to have suggestions and stuff, I'll hit you up with suggestions. My envision for this community, be it if I'm around to see it or not, is I like this community to be exactly what the Diamond Dynasty community is, which probably less toxic. But it's not my community. It's not my kingdom. I'm just saying, you know what? It'd be nice if you paint these walls this accent color. It could be a very supportive community. You could have a very knowledgeable community. And that's just it, So to, avoid all those types of things if you can, because a lot of people out here don't care about your talents. They just care about what they can get from you. That's it. And once their need for you dries up, their acknowledgement of you dries up. And that goes for games. It goes for anything. I'm in this for now building and having fun and seeing what else I can do. So that's it for that. On to this. Bristol racetrack. So I got to bring up the map here, Bristol, because I'm a little stuck on certain stuff. But the MLB Classic 25 is coming to historical Bristol, 330 feet down the lines. That means left and right, 400 to center, 375 to right field alley, 384 to left field alley. In racing configurations, the highly banked concrete track has approximately 146,000 seats. That's not going to happen in this, okay? I tried to build this whole thing out at 59,000, and the seat thing starts acting up. So you can't go above 60K in this ballpark, in this stadium, in this racetrack. So the one thing that will save you if you are going to build this is if you build up one section high and I would say this section right here. Let me do this right here. If you build this section up right here, okay, because this section's high, you can probably get away with it because this is probably the tallest portion in this. But also keep in mind that you need to fill out the actual bowl that they have here for this. And I don't know if it's going to be bleacher seating or seating. More than likely, it's going to be regular seating. So we're at 40K right here, right now. I'm not worried very much so about the track right now because I have somewhat of a shape that's laid out. But this is probably going to be the tallest part. So if you lay it out and you just go up, so we're hitting 43,000 seats right here. This is what will get you when you do LA Memorial Coliseum, which, by the way, I have done and is ported over. This is going to get you. I see a lot of people who built this speedway before me, who has blanked out a lot of stuff, and it looks ugly. So for my mentality, this is how I think. I would much rather have a speedway or a racetrack that is, I would say, about a pool, maybe 60K under, than have a speedway that is blank like that. It's just ugly. It looks ugly. It kills your stadiums. It kills your ballparks. You know, it's just the way that it is. So I'm going to do it like this. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep consulting the map. One of the things that's going to save you in this ballpark, in this racetrack that you're doing, excuse me, one of these things that's going to save you is that the back portion of this racetrack is going to be blacked out with a sheet. Okay? So you don't have anything that goes slanted. This doesn't go slanted, unfortunately. But let's see what I can get away with here. We have Raceway coming soon. Fresh Donuts. This is coming soon. Not going to complain much, but I will say one thing I will take umbrage with in this is this was something that was, I guess, more so promotional marketing as opposed to deep-rooted content that was put up. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that right there, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. One thing to realize when doing this is you have to look at these ballparks that you're building from a person's point of view. So you're thinking about the massiveness of this thing. And so when you think about the massiveness of this thing, you won't go overboard in regards to how many decks you put in, how many layers you put in, how many things you put in. Because you're comparing the size to a human being. You know, it's one thing, like, you can become the size of a person and look at this and see the massiveness of it. That saves you crowd size. So that's why if you look at my ballparks, you look at Memorial Stadium, I don't go head over heels for Memorial Stadium anymore. I do a single deck that saves me, takes away less memory and all that type of stuff because I'm looking at it from a person point of view. And that saves you a lot of time and effort. So we're going to go through here real quick, 603, and I want to see, bring up Bristol racetrack model. So let's see here. So I'm at 46K right here. And let's see. I'm at 46K. So you have one side that goes up. So you have one side that goes hard like this. And then you have one side that's lower. So that's going to probably save you a little bit. Let's get this out of here. And let's get this going here. We're just going to eliminate this. And Make this work, make this fit. Then bring this up. Bring this in. This was kind of like the same way as working on LA Memorial Coliseum last year, which is by far one of my most favorite. One of my most favorite ballparks I like to work on is LA Memorial Coliseum. I'm so glad. That's one thing I'm so glad about the ports, because as much as I love it, I don't want to do it over again. It's a very hectic ballpark to do. It's very time consuming because you're trying to fill up the entire Coliseum, but at the same time, you're trying to stay under that magical number of 59. So here you go right here. Bring this back, bring it down, bring this back, bring it down. Trying to see what works here. Trying to see what works. Don't worry so much about the perfect shapes of all this stuff, because what's going to happen is you're going to go back in and smooth it all down anyway once it's all done. Like, this isn't even going to be the default it's not even going to be the default color. So let's see here. We got this. And we're just going to go around, see what we can do with this. Okay. I really do wish that the size of this would have been 100K. I don't know why. I feel like especially with the lag this year, you definitely get yourself in trouble with a certain amount of size that you put onto these things. Where last year it wasn't that much of a problem. All right, here we go. We're at 45K. 45K, 46K. $48K. $51. Now you start going into, you're not in the danger zone yet because you got about 7,000 to go. 54. I'm going to bring this over a little bit. And there you go. So you got to be okay with a little bit of artistic license here, because you're going to make this part shorter, but you're making this part bigger. You know, and that's just the case. I mean, try it. If anybody's hearing me, you can try it with this. Okay, you got 54K right here. Let's see what we can get away with. Okay, you got 54. 55. So at this point, you're just avoiding the inevitable. Let's see what we can do here. And you want to bring this. We'll see what this goes to. Now see? Now you're in the danger zone. So, you know, in a perfect world, this is your racetrack right here, ladies and gents. In a perfect world. But, you know, if you go a little bit over, you definitely screw the pooch. So let's see if I can get rid of this and this. So I get a little bit of grace. A little bit of grace. A little bit of grace. We're at 59 in the yellow. A little bit of a caution light right there. Bring this up. Bring it in. So I'm back at 58. And so right here is a little nice because you get to cheat a little bit. Put this in here. Okay, and then you want to bring this up. But then you screw yourself over. So it's all about staying within the yellow right here when you guys are building this stuff. You want to make sure that you are, with your eyes a little bit or a little less. But there's no escaping it. Now, one thing you can do to escape it is in this small section right here, from, I would say, this, 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 and this. You have your bigger dead eye, which is a batter's eye, which is you can fill this space with concrete or some other substance that's like blue or something. And look at what you just did. I mean, it's kind of new. But, like, you just got to look at, like, what saves you time and what consumes your time. You know what I mean? And it's like, does having 5 incomplete projects that are near completion take up more time than having 1 complete project and moving on to it? You know what I mean? So, the most thing that saves you, one thing I see that saves you the most time, one that takes up the most time for people is filling out the dimensions of the ballpark. That's what's going to take up the most time. And once you master that, then you're okay. Once you learn the placement of certain things and what's going to be mapped off and what's going to be, cornered off and all that type of stuff, you'll be A-okay. So then you go back when you have time, and now you can do, so now this puts you at 58K. So you got to remember, you still got to do the stands. And I'm just, doing this because, in all honesty, somebody else is going to probably copycat this thing. And that's okay. I don't take it personal. What you want to do, all power to you. So what you want to do is you want to find the best one that's going to not make your thing look ugly. And might as well just do the 58. That's going to kill a little bit of time with your stuff. There you go. All right. So you got that right there. This is going to be mapped off. Just got to find out where the even portion is going to be. So I think that's going to be around here, around the curve. And so you can always go back and change it. Now you're at 58K. You're doing great with that. So you're doing good with that too. Blend it in, merge it. So you still got this to do. Still got a little bit of that. Bring it around 59. 59. 59. 59, and 59. So now you're starting to see, a little bit of a problem here. Okay. A problem which I haven't seen since MLB The Show 21. Now you're starting to get a case of the old addition by subtractions. So now what you want to do is you always go back to the map. Do not panic. Okay. Now, my one complaint, I know I promised I wasn't going to complain here. So one thing I do complain about is I just want to clear up a discrepancy I've always had. A discrepancy I've always had with this speedway. Not speedway, excuse me. A discrepancy I've always had with the seats going blank. I don't necessarily care about the seats going blank, but what I do have an issue with in regards to the seats going blank is I have a problem with the seats going blank in areas that you've already constructed. So, like, if it goes blank by adding on more, fine. I'm okay with having a blank section. That actually, if I could, and I knew I could do that, I would go back to Yankee Stadium and go ham on that. But, it just doesn't work like that. So here we go. Now I need to go back to the map and see what I can add. Okay. Because it's not a complete. And one thing about this racetrack is that this racetrack has a lot of weird configurations with it, a lot of weird sectionings and stuff like that, in which you can take advantage of in regards to not getting maxed out. So let's see the baseball one. Bristol racetrack, Bristol track, baseball. Okay, so you have the batter's eye that takes stuff out. You have okay. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are square sections within that, and then you got press boxes and stuff on there. So that's something that you want to take a look at. Okay. So we're going to go here, and we're going to take up this section, move it back, this back, this back. Let's see if I can do this. See, that's my only problem. I just wish that if it was going to take that away, it would just be, take it away in some aspect. So you can either do it like this and realize that you got this left, or what you can do is you can lower the decks make the racetrack appear smaller than what it is, which is going to be on four. Oh, I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, I mean that probably will help. um, So as you guys see here, this is going to be, I want to get the preliminary set up here. And so preliminaries to me is basically like a rough draft. If any of you guys went to college, anything like that, you went to college, talk to your professors about rough drafts and things like that, you know a thing or two, because a thing or two about rough drafts. So you look at the size of everything and you say to yourself, okay, this isn't going to work. This is not going to work. Nothing about this is going to work. So you go back to the drawing board right here. You take a quick look at what you got. And you look at this. And you're like, this could work. But, again, not going to work. Okay? So now you're left with an option. Either A, you make this thing bigger than what it is because you're already at a disadvantage because you got to go, the way this is angled is you have to go this way, you have to go straight this way, curve out this way. All right, go like this. Take two, like this. And then you have to do that. Okay? Or what you could do is what I'm going to do, because until they come out with an official version, I don't know if these are going to be bleacher seats. I know they're going to be seats attached to that. But to save space and to save time, what I'm going to do is I am going to use the bleachers. I'm going to use the old stands. And that's just how this war is going to get won. Now, another thing I'm going to do is, because this isn't a preliminary, this is pretty much just how I envision everything. This is what I want to see. This is how I want to set it up. I haven't put the press boxes in. I haven't put nothing in yet. This right here is going to be probably the worst part to deal with, because this is probably going to be concrete that I'm going to have to put through, and that's going to take up a lot of memory. But you already have a set design as to what you want to see out of this. It's just a matter of how big is this going to be? How wide is this going to be? And, this is going to be good, because all of this can do now that you have this shape section, now you can take this shape section and do with it whatever you please. Concrete here, concrete there, move this out, move this here, and it'll be good. The good thing is, this is inside the arena, so you're not going to be able to see that much outside of it. But you guys know where I'm going to come from with this, so yeah, expect the fun to come. So that's that. I got to do a little bit more research on this ballpark, on this racetrack, because I want to see the intricate designs. I want to see how everything works, how everything is for now. But for the most part, I have the shape. I leave you guys with this. If you want to do things my way, if I would have known how to do this with Memorial Stadium, I would never have taken too much time. Learn the shape of your ballparks, learn the shape of your stadiums, fill it in, get the shape, and then come back and then start doing the edits and everything. With certain maps, it would be much better for you to fill out the landscape and put your roads down and all that stuff, so you can learn the spatial areas and everything that needs to be done. So that's that. I'm tired of looking at this purple, because I know this purple is not going to be here. So what I want to do is, I know some of the seats are going to be a fiery gray or something like that. I like, maybe let's make it red. That's a little orange. Let's make it red. Let's do that. Let's make it red. That's orange, but you get the drift. I want to look at something different, you know. So that's that. You want to look at, you know, the raceway, how everything's going to look, how you're going to light it up, the scoreboards, and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're going to save this, and I'm going to get out of here because I'm not trying to be here till 9 p.m. All right. My nail clippers is calling. I got to sharpen these claws, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to get out of here with that, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Nothing but peace and love. Catch you later. Oh, and avoid manosphere spaces online. I know it's got nothing to do with the subject, but avoid manosphere spaces online. I'm going to say this to young men. Wasn't going to say this here because this obviously has nothing to do with this, but because I venture in different sections of YouTube, I'll say this about this whole manosphere stuff and all this stuff. If you are guys, if you are young men out here between the ages of 18 to in your 20s, the worst thing you can do is listen to another man online tell you how to be a man. There are boys and girls clubs in which you guys can go to. There are guidance counselors in which you guys can go to if you're in high school. You have multiple outlets to go to where you can learn how to converse, talk, get your issues out there if you're feeling a certain type of way, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling that way. There are phone numbers, hotlines, therapy, BetterHelp.com. I don't get sponsored by them. There are multiple learnable facets for young men to learn how to deal with their anger, to deal with their depression, to deal with their sadness, to deal with their problems in life. And I have never kept this place contained to one medium. I am a person of multiple mediums. I venture and explore different facets and everything of YouTube. So most people here don't know what this is, but in my time and in life of growing up, I have dealt with numerous facets of YouTube. I've seen YouTube go through multiple phases, and the most popular one now is your Andrew Tate crap and all this manosphere crap. And I would like to sit up here as a man in his 30s who has gone through the plights and trials and tribulations in life to tell you that your answer is never going to be following people who tell you to live a life that they themselves do not live. If you are a man who is a teenager, if you're a young man who is a teenager, please seek father figures. They can be in your high school, they can be your coaches, they can be anybody. Just as long as they don't manipulate you, take advantage of you, use you, or take you in any way outside of the norm. If they do, run away from them and seek professional or law enforcement or help. That I'm not talking about. YouTube, all these social media places out here has become a haven for frauds, scammers, BS artists, and those types of people trying to tell you what it takes to be a man. What it takes to be a man is to have responsibility. What it takes to be a man is to do things that are not popular to do, but you have to do them because you got to do them. That's what it takes to be a man. Sitting up here watching TV shows, watching shows where dudes are sitting around in round tables and they're crapping on women and talking bad about girls and all this type of stuff, it's not going to make you feel good about yourselves. It's not. It's not going to make you feel great about yourselves. It's not going to make you talk to girls. It's not going to make you talk to women. It's not going to make you become a full man. It's just going to make you become miserable, and it's just going to make you come and hate yourself. Much like the trolls that come in here, much like the trolls that come into other people's spaces that I have been to, who build ballparks and build stadiums and stuff, are grown men who have a passion, who find happiness in their life, and these trolls take it upon themselves to write hateful stuff on your Facebook, hateful stuff on your YouTube, hateful stuff on this stuff. These are people who have no purpose in life. And if you sit around and you listen to these guys and you follow these guys and you buy their T-shirts and you take their courses and you buy their stuff, you will not become happy. You won't become happy. You won't become a man. You will just become a miserable person that no one wants to be around. Much like trolls, much like most people out here. It is not the way to get to where you got to go. That is the bottom line. So, random, I know, but I know there's a lot of young guys that come through here. I know there's a lot of young people that come through here. And I just want to voice my stuff as a man in his 30s, his mid-30s, heading into his 40s, that life is not perfect. There is no one-way answer to get to where you got to go. You have to rescue yourself. You must become a rescuer of your own captivity. And you've got to be very careful as to who on the internet is giving you life advice, who on the internet is telling you how to be a man, who on the internet is telling you how to be responsible, and who on the internet is telling you how to live your life. Because most of these people out here who are on the internet telling you how to do things and what to do can't do it themselves in their own life. And they're just shamming you to get dollars so that they can make themselves rich and they can keep you poor. These people do not respect you. These people do not value you. These people do not consider you a part of their ilk. If they did, they would not do what they do. They don't practice what they preach. They're just in it to make a quick dollar. Your success will be found in the friends you keep. Your success will be found in the company that you keep. Your success will be found in who you wish to be when you become older. When you are alone, you learn how to be a stronger person. When you are by yourself, you learn how to be self-sustainable. You learn how to be respectful. You learn how to be a person who's just as valued as you are among your kin, among your family, among your peers, both professionally, romantically, and platonically. That's what you do. The success to find the answers in life is not found in a podcast. It's not found in a book. These are methods and means that could possibly take you to where you want to go. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to get yourself there. Don't trust what everybody tells you. Be skeptical of what people tell you. Learn to stand on your own. Learn to be a strong person. And that's how you get to be a successful person in life. So I don't take pleasure in sitting around and bad-mouthing these types of YouTube channels and stuff like that. But ultimately, it is alarming, especially in this world right now, that you have a lot of young men out here who are lost, a lot of young men out here who have no one to talk to, a lot of young men who have no one else to speak to. And a lot of the dudes in these communities will call me a loser, will call other people losers because we're sitting up here building ballparks. But as you see, the people who come through here, the people who build ballparks with us are very successful men. Very successful men, very successful women. They're married, they're relationships, they have lives, they have things like that. So that's who you should surround yourself with. These podcasters, these people who speak and talk of all these things to obtain and accomplish are just false prophets. And that is the case. So I will be back on later tonight to finish this raceway. That is just something I wanted to get off my chest and to talk about in the meantime. ATG, thank you for stopping by as always. ATG, thank you for stopping by as always. I know that subreddit, not subreddit, the Discord is where you can find me there. You can also find me on TikTok as the Stadium Builder as well. And you can mostly find me here. 477 subscribers. I'm about 33 away from 500. So, like and subscribe if you want to. If you please, I will find a way to organize this flim-flam known as this YouTube channel. So, keep it easy, and I'll talk to you guys later.